In a sea of chronographs that now exists, it can be tough at times to find a standout in the crowd. One brand that's been making chronos since the dawn of time is Zenith, and there's plenty of videos that cover the history, so I'll link a few in the description below. But to really stand out, Zenith decided to do something no one else had. Become the first manufacturer to produce a watch directly inspired by a depiction in a Japanese manga and anime series. When Sean the book watcher mentioned he had this watch, admittedly I knew nothing about it. And I feel that's the fun with running this channel, being introduced by enthusiasts to watches I've never heard of, let alone handled before. The A384 Revival Lupin The Third First Edition, as seen here, is the black dial with grey subdials, while two other editions have been released since, comprising of a white dial and a newly announced black and white split dial earlier in 2022. The first edition arrived in 2019 in the year of the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the El Primero calibre, and reprises the colours of the watch shown on the wrist of one of the main characters in the story, Mr. Daisuke Jigen. Is that right? I don't know. Probably not. The charming partner of the main protagonist thief, Lupin. Jigen is depicted wearing the Zenith watch on two occasions in the first episode of the first TV series. The watch is clearly inspired by the A384, but used a colour scheme that did not exist and was purely created by the artists at the time. That is, until this watch was produced in the metal, as the popular saying goes. This particular A384 Revival Lupin The Third is even more special as only 50 pieces were made at the time of launch, exclusively available in Japan only. Using the blueprints and production plans of the original watch made in 1969, the Revival edition measures in at 37.5mm at the widest portion, and 12.8mm thick, which is comprised of a stainless steel case. Lug to lug is a very comfortable 46.5mm, with a lug width of 20mm, of which the bracelet tapers to 16mm. The retro design, identical to the original A384 reference, has wicked polished angular lugs along with sharp polished bevels along the side of the case. Combined with a striking radial brushing on the top, it all highlights the unique case shape. It all measures up to an extremely wearable and comfortable chronograph when on my 17cm wrist. The brush bracelet is of the ladder style. I'm not sure if that's the official title, but let's roll with that. Flame me in the comments below if you feel the need. And as mentioned, tapers from 20mm at the lug to 16 at the clasp. There's plenty of micro adjustment in the clasp, which is a simple push style. While I understand this piece is retro inspired, personally I found the bracelet a little uninspiring. It felt somewhat tinny and the clasps felt thin. The style is to one's own taste, and I understand that, and while I don't mind it overall, a better build quality would have made it a better experience. For me. I have seen images with leather straps and it looks fantastic, so that's always an option as well. On the side of the case we have polished chrono pushers for stop, start and reset of the chronograph function. The action is crisp, fast and easy to use as expected from the iconic El Primero movement. The non-screw down crown is of good size and winding is smooth and easy to use. Pulling the crown out to the first position is reversed to most watches in that it's the time changing function, while the second position allows date changing functionality. Very cool in my opinion. There's also 50 meters of water resistance, so just ensure your thieving wrists don't get stuck in any water-based scenarios. The display case back features a printed silhouette of Mr. Jigen? I should really look that up, shouldn't I? In his typical hat tipping posture, while showing off the latest, at time of release, version of the El Primero 400 chronograph movement. This legendary column wheel chronograph automatic movement has 31 joules, beats at a higher frequency of 5 Hz, or 36,000 vibrations per hour, with power reserve of around 50 hours. It was difficult to find any description on accuracy, but most of the forums indicated around plus or minus 10 seconds per day, as it's not a COSC certified movement. It's well decorated and finished under macro, although I kinda wish the silhouette was left out to have a better view of the movement itself, in my opinion. Beneath the sapphire crystal lies a fairly typical A384 layout that consists of a matte black dial that features contrasting grey chronograph counters that represents running seconds, 30 minutes and 12 hours elapsed time. The applied rectangular hour markers are well finished, while the printed minutes track runs around the outer portion. A date window between 4 and 5, love it or hate it, and a tachymeter scale in the outer periphery finish off the smaller details of the watch and complements the chronograph functions. The beautiful golden hands are certainly a standout and balances well with the rest of the dial with high legibility. The hands and the applied markers are filled with creamy beige superluminova that I think enhance the age look of the watch. Despite some minor personal issues, we all have them, with the bracelet, I found the Zenith Lupin to be a wonderfully charming and comfortable watch. Its dimensions are spot on and it's well suited to a large audience of wrist sizes. However, there's one problem. Zenith made only 50 examples for the Japanese domestic market at launch. And, you guessed it, any example now is priced well above the original retail price. And that's unfortunate, as only a small select group of people get to enjoy this cracking revival piece. Thankfully, there is still an option for us mere humans, which is the standard A384 watch that still looks great and, more importantly, it's not limited. So you can still experience all the Zenith have to offer within this package range. Thanks for watching the review, I hope you enjoyed it. Please do all that good stuff. Like, subscribe and share. If you want to follow more daily content, head over to my Instagram page at Mr. Ace K Productions. Until next time. Thank you.